Well, hello and welcome to all of our viewers around the world. I'm Fiona Lang Sharp, IBCLC Director of Communications and MC here at Gold Learning. Well, today we've been talking all about our Gold Neonatal Online Conference 2025 coming up here, and we're so excited to be sharing some of the content with you. Not all of the content yet, but some of the content that's happening here. Today, I have Debbie Fraser, who is back with us here at Gold, and we're so excited. This topic is so interesting, and I can't wait for her to share. I've had a little bit of an inside scoop already, and we've had some opportunity to sit down together. But today, I'm going to ask you, Debbie, just to share a little bit about the content and the topic. But welcome back. It's great to have you here at Gold.
Thanks. It's wonderful to be back.
Yeah, your topic, preventing blindness, the latest insights in retinopathy and prematurity. Such a
Mhm.
big topic. I don't even know where to begin. So start at the beginning of us when this started to be sort of an important topic and research was getting underway. Where are we at right now?
So this topic was originally, or retinopathy of prematurity was originally recognized as a condition affecting preterm infants as far back as 1962. But at
Hmm.
that time, we really didn't understand very much about exactly what was going on. And frankly, to this day, we still don't fully understand some of the
Interesting.
factors that impact the incidence of retinopathy of prematurity in premature infants.
Wow, that is so fascinating. So, what can healthcare providers do to support families in this matter and talk about it? What's their role per se in all of this?
Well, we do have an important role to play in prevention by trying to reduce the factors that may increase the risk for retinopathy of prematurity.
Hmm.
And so some things are as simple as supporting moms to provide their own breast milk or to work with them to provide donor milk for infants, because we know that the protective factors in breast milk can play a role in the incidence of retinopathy of prematurity. We also need to look at the practices that we have in our newborn intensive care units with a mind of trying to reduce things like mechanical ventilation, oxygen exposure, the need for blood transfusions. So retinopathy prematurity is really a very much a multifactorial disease. And so
Right.
there's quite a wide range of factors that do impact the incidence, and healthcare providers have a big role to play in reducing those risk factors.
That is fascinating. And so, and just you hearing, of course, bringing in breast milk into the conversation, and again, another factor that plays a role in the health and well-being of our premature infants.
Mhm.
Let's talk a little bit about the research and how it's been managed. It sounds like we've known about this for quite some time, but has the research been robust? Has sometimes we find there's stops and starts in research. What have you seen in your time, Debbie, with the research in this area?
Well, I think the research is really taking two tracks. One is to try to understand the disease itself
Hmm.
and which infants are truly at increased risk and what we might do to mitigate some of those risks. And then the other aspect of research has really been on managing the disease, how best to treat it. Some of the treatments that we've used in the past are quite invasive and impact long-term visual outcomes. So really
Right.
trying to find ways that we can manage infants who do develop retinopathy of prematurity to provide them with an optimal outcome and the best possible visual acuity at the end of the process.
And how is this research translating into practice per se? So is it something that that every unit is, taking underhand, that it's common knowledge? What's the translation right now of getting research into practice?
I think it's quite good from the prevention point of view. Unfortunately, without fully understanding exactly what particular factor is going to result in the development of retinopathy of prematurity, it makes it very difficult to narrow in on very specific things that we can do. But what we
Hmm.
find happening is that most units across North America are developing quality improvement processes that include factors or ways to address retinopathy of prematurity. So we're implementing what we call bundles, where we
Right.
put a group of care practices together to try to overall, with an overall impact on reducing the incidence of retinopathy of prematurity. So I think we're paying a lot of attention to those care practices, and we're really working very hard to make sure that whatever can be mitigated is mitigated within the way we approach care for the tiniest of babies.
It's incredible how far we've come really in NICUs,
Hmm.
but how breaking down all these different instances, all the different organs that we're trying to prioritize.
Hmm.
And it's so good that we're definitely looking at retinopathy as well. So tell me, what's happening on the international platform? Are there groups that get together? Often we see researchers coming together now more globally. Is there global interest in this as a whole, or what's happening?
There certainly is. I think we notice or we recognize that there's quite a difference in the incidence of retinopathy of prematurity
Mm,
between developing and developed countries.
hmm.
And the area of some international concern are sort of the mid-range countries where we have newborn intensive care units, but we may not have all of the technology and the equipment that allows us to be more discerning in terms of how much oxygen is delivered, what type of ventilation practices there are. So there's quite a bit of work being done
Oh.
with those developing countries to try to improve the rates of retinopathy of prematurity in those areas.
Oh, that's incredible. Well, it's certainly as a global opportunity. We have the platforms and the incidences of bringing people together, which is something that probably you and I have both seen develop, over our times, to bring people together. So that is incredible. Let's talk a
Mhm.
little bit about some of the insights and things that are happening for the future. What are you looking forward to seeing, or what's your hope in this area that you're looking forward to seeing in the
Well,
future?
two things, I think. One is in the area of screening and prevention. And we're now seeing a lot of work being done with AI, which I think is an
Ooh,
incredible opportunity to bring forward care in the newborn intensive care unit. So, in terms of
yeah.
retinopathy of prematurity, we're seeing telehealth and RET cams being used. And
Wow.
this is really allowing units that may not have ready access to ophthalmology specialists to
Hmm.
work with those folks remotely in order to improve our screening practices. And we're also looking at deep learning as a way in which we can better predict which infants might be at risk for retinopathy of prematurity. So that's quite exciting.
Yeah.
And then we're certainly seeing the development of new drugs that can be applied to the treatment of retinopathy, which are less invasive again than some of the previous surgical interventions that we had.
That's incredible. So it's not a case of where you need to be in a special neonatal unit. We're seeing this across the board. And now you're talking about the fact that we can get into remote communities. And as we know, both you and I live in Canada. We
Mhm.
have a lot of remote communities here. So that's pretty exciting as well. Uh, Cost is a factor, though, or how does that play in?
Well, I think availability and we still need the experts. So we still need to have access
Hmm.
to the specialists, such as ophthalmologists who are used to looking in premature infants' eyes. And
Sure.
then in the more remote location, we of course need people that know how to set up the camera and how to optimize the images that are taken. But right now, for example, newborns may have their discharge delayed, or they may need to stay in a tertiary center or in a city
Right.
longer and not be able to return home with their family because they have to stay for further screening. If we can send them back with their families to smaller communities and still have access to the appropriate follow-up and screening, then that's going to go a long way to helping families be together in the most appropriate place.
Oh, wow, that's incredible because we know that early discharge actually long term impacts infants in a positive way. So
Mhm.
this is, I can see this is another area that's just going to be so helpful. Well, thank you so much. I mean, Debbie, this is an incredible topic. Bringing it to gold for us is just amazing. And I can't wait to see what is going to happen in the future. But just learning from you, your presentation is so detailed with the content and research. So I know folks are really going to enjoy it. Is there anything that that when you were doing this that you discovered for yourself, Debbie, that just jumped off the page when you were researching it again?
I think it's really just how rapidly things are changing and how important it is to really be able to understand the research and apply
Hmm.
it appropriately and appreciate, which studies we can take our learning from and which studies perhaps need more work or more repetition before we can implement those findings into practice. So it's a really rapidly evolving field and one that we really need to continue to pay attention to.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. And you heard it here first. It sounds like there's an opportunity there for folks to also do some incredible research. So if this is an area that you are looking forward to learning more about, then you've come to the right place. You can head over to goldneonatal.com right away and register for not only this presentation, but of course, our entire conference. Debbie, you're going to be with us live at the conference, which is really
Mhm.
exciting for our attendees because I know that they'll get an opportunity to listen in live and also participate in a live Q&A with you. So thank you so much for that once again. But for now, we're going to let everyone go. Thank you again for joining us here today. Debbie, it's been great having you back here at Gold. Preventing blindness, the latest insights in retinopathy of prematurity. So thank you again, everyone. Don't forget to head over to the website, goldneonatal.com, and we'll look forward to seeing you online. Bye-bye for now, everyone.